Hello, everyone, and good morning. We'd like to thank everybody for coming out to Jacksonville, Florida in HYPACK 2020. First of all, we'd like to thank all of the people that came, but specifically the end users. It all started with you. We created this so many years ago, and it's been a big part of our culture to have the HYPACK training event and to come to you, the end users, and be able to bring our software team together with the people that actually use our software in the field. So it's a very valuable part of our calendar year. It is the biggest part of our calendar year. So again, we do thank you very much. Thanks for being out here. We'd also like to thank all of our exhibitors for coming out here to HYPACK 2020. Obviously, we couldn't do it without you. We have true industry leaders here represented in this next room over here, so you can feel free to wander throughout this conference and talk to everybody, and you're going to really get to see how we have a great cross-section of software, hardware, end users, and so many different people that are using it with various use cases. We'd also like to thank the government agencies that come out, specifically the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, okay. And also our friends at NOAA. Thank you for coming out, both of you. We do appreciate it. Also, we've got resellers around the globe. If you're not familiar with the way HYPACK works, we don't have an office in every city around the globe, so it's very important for us to have qualified resellers around the globe, and we thank so many of them for traveling in from around the world today to come and be a part of the extended HYPACK family. And last but not least, certainly, I'd like to bring up in just a moment, but first of all, introduce our new Director of Operations. I would like to embarrass him for a minute. Gerd Glang, retired Rear Admiral from NOAA. And again, it's that connection that we have with these government agencies and with the end users and with everyone in the exhibit hall, whether it's OEMs or resellers and dealers and everybody else that we have coming from around the world. And this guy gets to oversee everything. And he worked with Brittany hand in hand to get everything off the ground for this. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Gerd Glang, Director of Operations for HYPACK. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you, Rob, for the excellent introduction of not just me, but the whole HYPACK team. We really tried hard to bring everyone. A couple people couldn't quite make it. There were travel issues. There were family health issues. The downside of having just about everybody here is that the phones are going off the hook back at the office. So Natasha and Karen are just working themselves silly trying to keep up with the phone calls. And that's both sales and support. It's not just stuff breaking. But it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the HYPACK 2020 Hydrographic Training event. I thank you for taking the time from your busy schedules, for making the journey, and for joining us here in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. We have a whole range of people here, right? We've got new users, we've got experienced users, we have folks who are in the selling business, but we also have corporate people from different companies, including my boss is here, so I have to be especially careful what I say. And I got to make eye contact so I know how to read reactions. I can't see him. Oh, there he is. It's my boss, Mutu, right in front here. Many of you know him. He came last year. And he's also the one who hooked me and brought me here to HYPACK. So this is the 27th year that HYPACK has offered this training event, and like Rob said, it's a big deal for HYPACK. It's part of our culture. We look forward to it, and we work pretty hard to put together a program that will meet your current needs. The format for this event has evolved over the years, just like HYPACK has evolved, and HYPACK's evolved because our users are seeking answers to ever more complex questions and are looking to help support decisions about our natural or built environment. And to get those answers and make those decisions, HYPACK users need to take advantage of the latest technology and the latest tools. we're just becoming a lot more sophisticated. When I put the first multi-beam systems out at NOAA, it was a Rezon 9001. We hung it on a big giant pole off the side of one of our smaller survey ships, and we just started to learn how to do it. By the way, that's also the first time I met Pat Sanders, so that was about 1994. I don't think he quite had the Windows version. I just vaguely remember DOS stuff, but it was a crazy time. That was the biggest problem with these multi-beam sonars, right? You didn't really have 24-hour GPS positioning, so we still used mini rangers. So you didn't quite have the horizontal accuracy that we found out you really needed to have. And it was just a huge amount of data, right? Coming from sort of traditionally single beam acquisition into multi-beam, there were no tools really to help deal with all that data. Anyways, that's not even in my notes. That was just a C story. So the world gets more complicated. We have decisions to make. Better technology comes out. HYPACK evolves along with that to help you work on that. And HYPACK software is used all over the world to measure, map, and understand the seafloor, riverbeds, lake beds, places which are mostly unseen or hidden, which is kind of cool. If we're just sort of in it all the time, but think about it, step back. We're mapping places that really most people don't ever see. Because HYPACK is used around the world in this way, we have participation that reflects that. We've got participants from countries around the world, and at least they were on the registration list. I haven't met everyone yet. That includes countries like Nigeria, Jamaica, France, Japan, Mexico, Spain, Canada, Brazil, India, China, Turkey, and a whole bunch of states around the United States. So remember I said I have a mixed audience here. I've got users and people who just want to get on with learning something, but I have to talk to sort of the next tier up, people who've known Pat, known the company for decades, my boss. So let me talk more immediately about some of the changes at HYPACK that happened during 2019. So I hope everyone realizes that HYPACK is no longer an independent company. That changed about 4 or 5 years ago. I say that because we still get payments for HYPACK Incorporated. So one of our challenges is on the accounting world is getting everyone up to speed. Hey, you know, we changed a while ago. We became a Xylem brand, and at that time we were organized under Xylem Analytics. So our colleagues, in fact, have a booth over here, and they're focused on the instrumentation side, and you can go talk to them. But in January of 2019, HYPACK was reorganized under a different part of Xylem as a division of Pure HM, which fits under Xylem's watershed integrity component. So where we fit within Xylem now is less about instrumentation and more about servicing and managing the built infrastructure that supports the movement of water, oil, and gas. This creates new opportunities for HYPACK to grow within Xylem, but it doesn't change, and it won't change, HYPACK's core products or businesses. Our core business remains creating software for hydrographic surveying, for mapping the unseen places beneath the oceans, the rivers, and the lakes. So that shift in our organizational home base happened along with changes to HYPACK's leadership and management, and Rob already introduced the new leadership, Strad and myself. But in most cases, regrettably, we've also seen the departure of some really highly experienced staff. We have brought aboard new staff, and we've laid out a plan to create new positions in 2020, and we're pretty excited about that. Do get to know, if you haven't yet, or reintroduce yourself to our HYPACK team. They're a really great team. They're really dedicated to making HYPACK the best product and the best experience for you. HYPACK is a collaboration, right? What we want to do is see you succeed, and we try to round up as much of your requirements and sort of grind them into a software package that will meet the broadest possible number of users. That's not to say we're not interested in tailoring and building a solution that meets your particular needs, because we do that. All right, so what didn't go too well in 2019 while we changed our home base were the changes to our orders and accounting processes. And so those of you who are involved more in that, maybe you're saying, yeah, amen, dude. So that was an unfortunate fallout of our organizational realignment under Xylem, I certainly do apologize to all our customers who've been affected by those changes. But it's only going to get better. We're pretty excited. We're working with our Xylem parent to put in place new tools and new practices. So that's only going to get better. And if you have any issues in that department, do please see me. We've managed to unravel quite a few things. I want to focus on there were lots of new things in 2019, one of which you may have noticed was that our releases during 2019 came at much fewer intervals. They were basically quarterly intervals. And that is a characteristic of what for 2019 was a very sustained and disciplined focus on making HYPACK a better, more stable, and more reliable software package. So Joseph's software development team put practices into place which have made HYPACK 2019 much more stable than previous releases. And what I said to Joseph was, yeah, fine, so prove it to me. And he actually did. How do you measure those improvements? So using escaped bugs as his metrics, so these are basically software bugs and errors that you users have reported, and we do log all those. We can show that there's been a 2/3 reduction in the number of software bugs or errors reported by our users from 2017 to the 2019 releases. So that's real, that's measurable. So we're really confident with the third quarter 2019 release when you run it on your Windows 10 machine with all the latest patches. So it's not just HYPACK that's changing and maybe stepping on itself and building its new code. It's everything we run our software on that affects us as well. The operating system, changes in hardware. So our team does the darndest to keep up with all that. But by sort of slowing down some of the other development work and focusing on practices and disciplines to make our releases stable and more reliable, I think we've proven that we're successful at that. So what's new at HYPACK for 2020? That's why you're here. I won't steal too much of that thunder. We're excited to introduce our new HYPACK LiDAR payload, and you'll hear more about that today. And there are many other new and improved features for HYPACK 2020. So here's the big news for you this week. The software team, and this was way back early when I came aboard, made a commitment to release HYPACK 2020 at the beginning of the year, comma, to coincide with this training event. So HYPACK 2020, fingers crossed, should be out towards the middle of the week. They're still beating out a few final issues. It turns out some of those issues are legacy issues that go back to 2017 or other versions, like just generally paraphrasing Joseph. But I'm really excited. I'm really pleased that the team has made this effort to get a stable release out at the beginning of the year so that our users can start using it, hopefully not discovering too many more significant bugs, so that when their field season starts, they can run HYPACK 2020 during 2020. So those are my remarks. I feel like there were other things I could have said, but it's not about me, it's your training session. So thank you so much for coming. I look forward to meeting you. Are you going to cover the housekeeping, Rob? Where'd he go?
Yeah, it's more like a school meeting and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Do join us for the reception this evening, 5 to 6:30. I'm saying it slowly because I've looked at the schedule so many times. So, is that right? 5 to 6:30. Okay. Which will be right in the exhibit hall. All right. Thank you all. Enjoy your time. And if you have any questions about the event or about anything at all, feel free to see me or any of the blue-shirted team today. Tomorrow we'll have a different color. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Gerd. Okay, so we're all here for what's new in HYPACK 2020. As Gerd mentioned, Joseph and the team have worked tirelessly to get this version out ASAP. And so we're going to go into just a high-level highlight package, if you will, of what's going on in HYPACK 2020, as we can't possibly put everything in it. Although you will see that a lot of these features are going to be talked about in much greater detail. And if you follow through, you will see the training event format. This slide might not be the most updated, but for the most updated calendars, you can just go and look at each of the rooms and you can see which of the seminars will be offered in which room. Okay. The question and answer session will be back again this year. We had it last year, and we think it was a good success, right? So we have the same 4 panelists as last year, the same 4 experts. Again, Mike Combach, he is the writer of the programmer of MBMAX 64 and the 32-bit version before that. So he's been writing our multi-beam software for over 20 years. Again, John Lindberg, the manager of quality control, and he's there. And if you have questions, if you have a question about a version going back however many years, and you think it's like already out of somebody's brain and it's not worth asking, ask him. He has every checkbox ever memorized, I swear. Joe Burnett, right here again, our main man in the field with multi-beam, again, St. Louis Core, but he's been with us now 11 and a half years, whatever it is, and he travels the world over, and he is always our #1 option to talk multi-beam, and he has been able to take that knowledge and spread it around, and we just hope to, catch some of it as we stand next to him. Same with Christian Shaw in dredging, and he'll be the 4th member of our Q&A panel. And so again, anything you got, bring them to us. If you have questions, go to Brittany or Newsy at the registration booth, and you can just write it down, give them a question, or come see me, give me a question, and we'll put a few in the can prior to getting out there. And of course, we'll have a microphone, we'll pass it around if anyone has new questions on the fly. All right, so now into what's new. Now, this is something that for perhaps the highest end user that needs to do, maybe their POSPAC corrections later on, or is just looking at the most highly accurate RTK survey that they could ever need, and they're going to go in and kill 1 million points manually, this might not be for you. However, if you are running a quality control survey, if you are in the dredging world and you just want a down and dirty representation of the seafloor after you've passed through it, and you want to be able to take that surface, turn it around, make a HYPACK matrix file out of it, and bring it right back in, go into DREDGEPACK, and be able to do this within a short period of time, this is for you. So this can be a great tool, especially I think in that use case where you're not trying to get the most highly accurate survey and you're not sending it off and it's not going to be poured over in the court of law. But if you're looking to just have something for your operators, it's quality control. It's a great thing. You can set up, MBMAX 64 will apply the filters that you set up in advance. And so it's whatever parameters you want. So you can limit the range, the angle, et cetera, and a few other filters and apply that on the run. So you get back to the dock and you already have edited HS2X files, and those are going to be able to be brought in. You could also save it out. You could save to XYZ, save to matrix out of MBMAX 64. So very few steps to get you right back out to dredging, and the operator is going to say, wow, you just did that survey, and it's going to be so quick that they'll have a surface roughly representative of the seafloor. Okay, side scan survey. This is mostly because we were just looking to get better at something we've been doing for 20 years and more, right? So the side scan survey has really been looked at, and it's just something that we're going in and sort of, it's a very lengthy process, as you might imagine, but some of the legacy features from yesteryear and just trying to get some of the visualizations up to snuff with that of the actual sonar manufacturers. So we think it's more in line with that, but as you can see, the waterfall display has been improved. We've changed some of the views of the screens, and you can look up to the top, and in some ways it almost looks like you're running it on an iPad or something, right? We have more user-friendly buttons for you and a few other small things, but it's really just looking to improve on that. Speaking in the same regard, to blank out the Nadir region for your Mosaic, we're going to be looking at nicer overlap. So it will make it easier as you're able to blank out that Nadir region and have less issues as you're trying to do your mosaicing. Okay, side scan targets. This is another one where we had received the question for years, why are we not going to use potentially the NOAA format? Why do we not have it? So I'm just looking around the room. Here we are over here, right? Okay, so yeah, so it's been requested for some time, and we really do try to work with the government agencies that use HYPACK. And so, you know, work with us, bear with us. We're trying our best, and we now have a new format for your side scan targets. It's just something that has been requested, and we're able to get that in now, and I'm sure we'll be working more to get everybody happy in that regard. We've had so many questions about this. Okay, you want to go out on a survey boat, you don't want to worry about losing your dongle, right? Who wants to have a $9,500 dongle or 15 grand or whatever it might be, depending on what you're buying and which package you have? Wouldn't it be nice if you don't have to worry about losing this little piece of plastic and metal? So that is the option. And we have heard this for years. Can we do it? Can we do it? And we've resisted, and for many reasons. But we're still trying to anticipate any potential issues we could have. And we spent so much time in that trying to make sure that we had thought of everything. So John, I've talked to him extensively about this, and Jerry and everybody in programming. And the idea is going to be that you can lock your dongle to, so if you have a HYPACK dongle, you can lock it to your computer. You're going to do it right in License Manager. And then after you do that, you take out the key, you could leave it in your desk. You're going to need it if you need to go back and get your maintenance plan updated, any of your HYPACK updates down the road. Okay, you could do that annually, right? But you could literally leave your key locked all year long in the desk and go out into the field as long as you're using just that one computer. Downside, oh no, it's not working, I need another computer. Bring your key with you, right? Sort of defeats the purpose perhaps, but in that regard, if you have any questions, call tech support. There's going to be a learning curve for everybody, we know that, so it is an option now in 2020. It's going to be in the release, and when you have questions about it, please give us a call. HYPACK Playback. This is in line of thinking of how do we make HYPACK more user-friendly, perhaps for somebody that doesn't really know that much about HYPACK, somebody that's not in the industry, or somebody that's not actually on the boat, on the dredge, running the drone, whatever it might be. Instead, we need to be able to impress somebody in an office sometimes. We need to be able to make it so that it is clever looking so that we can sell it. There's a number of different reasons why we've been asked to do things through the years, and one of them is just to improve the look. Does it pass the look test, or the eye test, right? So in this case, you're able to play back your raw data files in the main HYPACK shell. You could select your vessel shape. These are things that previously you would have to run a simulation and take your data into Survey or DREDGEPACK to be able to review it. But now you could just do it right there in the HYPACK shell. So we saved you a step. Thanks, programmers. Back to the drawing board and back to the boardroom. We've gotten questions about this. Well, you know, we got to keep up with the Joneses. We've got to do this and we've got to do that. Of course we do. The industry's changing very fast. We know it. And we have, through the years, tried to prioritize what needs to be done, where do we need to make splashy pictures, and where do we just need to be stable as anything. And we have, for years, said we need to be stable as anything. That's what we got to work toward, right? Well, again, just the same, everybody else likes to see things in 3D nowadays. It's something that we can do. And it can also help your operator. It can help your project manager. It could help anybody out there better visualize what's actually going on the job. And so for that, we can now use the real-time cloud in DREDGEPACK with a variety of new options. You run it right out of shared memory in DREDGEPACK, and it's really great because now you have it and you look at it and you say, wow, offsets are right, measurements are right, I don't have a problem. Looks like we're doing this accurately. We can really visualize it better now. So I don't know how many people are going to use it. We're going to learn on the fly. I've introduced it to as many dredgers as possible, and half of them turn it off within the first day and say it's not for me, and half of them love it. The younger guys love it. So the gamers love it, you know. So if you're a millennial, you might be playing with this. And it was written by one of our millennials back home, Ken Aiken. So good for him and good for you guys. Through the years, we have worked with the Army Corps to develop any number of different means for the calculation of volumes and payment on your dredging, or whatever the job might be. And as anyone in the Army Corps could tell you, there's a million different ways to do volumes. And it's not just cross-sections and volumes or tin model. It's not just, oh, we have one way of doing it in cross-sections and volumes. We have so many permutations thereof in both options, right? So now as we're looking for this, what we can do is we can use the pen to create a polyline, and previously we would give you volumes either for the entire area or for faces. Well, now it's a little more user-friendly because you might need the volumes in this area over here. And I can just come over here and say, let's select this part of the channel, of the turning basin. Let's do the volumes on this area. So again, it's just to make it more user-friendly for you that we now have ACD, Advanced Channel Design, Polygon Zone Selection. There's going to be a lot more in this in the DREDGEPACK presentations that'll be going on mostly tomorrow. Okay, a couple other quick things. The image georeference cursor shift. It's so that instead of just having the quick flat down and dirty projection, now you could actually click on it and shift it and move it a little bit. We've heard that would be nice if we can, sort of warp it as we wish, because as you go farther out from the middle of your image, it's obviously distorted, and so people would like to play with that and be able to adjust the position on their own. And so that's been added now to the image georeference editor. All right, magnetometer editing. And this is part of the platform where we're trying to make all of our editing tools look similar. There's something great about parallelism and getting everybody on the same page and everything looks the same. Single beam editors, MBMAX 64, also written by Mike and others now, but Mike started it and wanted it to look exactly like MBMAX 64. And so now we're doing the same thing with the magnetometer editing tool. So that way it's just for the modernization of the look and the feel of it. And some of our editors were just looking a little old, a little 80s or 90s, if you will, and we've decided we've got to refresh them up. But you've got the dockable windows, and again, you have more than 2 channels also now that you can edit, and it used to be limited to 2. More cool stuff in Magedit. You can generate your contours right in the program. So once again, we're taking one step away. You don't have to export out an XYZ, whatever your Z value might be, right? And then use tin model to create your contours as you would have done in the past, because now you can just do it right in Magedit. And you're just going to set, again, you can see how tin model is built within this. It's really a tin model engine. And if you look at the feel of it, it's going to ask you for the same minimum leg and minimum area and that type of stuff. And so it's just a way to give you tin model within that portal. You don't have to go outside of it, and you get your final products that way. Same thing with the sorting routine. So the 2D sort window is going to pop up for you, and if you're doing the magnetometer processing and you want to be able to take whatever your XYZ is, and you want to take that file and export it out, you're able to use the 2D sort, and it again will appear within the program, so you don't have to go out to our final product. So just another way that the programmers are cutting one step out for you, and especially if you are doing repeatable steps. Not everybody's repeatable. We have some surveyors here that survey over there, and then they survey over there, and they're never going back over there. That's fine. But if you are, and I'm looking around, I see some of you guys, some of you are surveying the same areas over and over and over again, right? So if you build your routine and you know what parameters you want, you can really fix these set processes to a point where you can get your export out quickly, and you don't have to worry about going to an extra program when you're trying to kick out your final products. XYZ Manager, 64-bit, just catching up again, got to keep up, and so it's able to handle much larger data sets, and we have improved border handling. You can see that, but really the biggest thing is we just want to give it a more modern feel. XYZ Manager is used to take your XYZ and manage that over time. Okay, this is really cool. The 3D offsets display, as you can see, coming soon. I should have put a ... in there. The ability to visualize offsets in 3D coming soon. To get rid of your question marks. Do I have my offsets right? Do I have a physical problem with my base station? Is there a wrong point loaded in the base station? what's my rod height, whatever, there's any number of things you could have that are going to give you your wrong elevation, your wrong positioning, right? Well, if we can tell you where your offsets are, we could build that boat in 3D and make it so that you can visualize all of your sensors on the actual boat much better for everybody. So that's coming very shortly here in 2020, something we're really excited about. And again, it's based on things that we've been asked about for a long time. So thank you, everybody, for coming here. Again, we don't just say it when we say we couldn't do it without you. Without you, we're not here. It would be pretty weird. And we really would not, we wouldn't be in Jacksonville right now, right? We wouldn't have blue shirts. Come on, guys. But we really can't do it without you. And we just want everyone here to have the best possible training event experience. So please seek us out early and often. We'll be here, whether it's in the next room. Please also go to the exhibit hall. As we've mentioned, we have the 5 o'clock happy hour, or whatever we're calling it, at 5 to 6:30. That's in River Terrace 1. And we'll have a little break now. We're going to have coffee and Danish and bagels or whatever it is for you right now. But as you go, please make sure you come and see us early and often. Thank you very much, guys.